Run your feet! Finish!
The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present Football Media Day. Football Media Day is brought to you by Lark Brewing Company and Restaurant, Loudoun's #1 destination for great food and great times. And by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. When you need to get back in the game or the game of life, call Robin O'Connor and Integrated Sports Medicine today.
Hundreds of high school athletes have trusted Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy to help them get back on the field. Don't let that injury go untreated. Call Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy today at 703-724-7474 or visit us online at integratedsportspt.com. It's where athletes go to get back in the game.
Thank you, Gameday, for having us here today. I'm Scott Vossler, the new head football coach at Westfield High School. Recapping our last season, obviously I'm new, so I wasn't here, but made it to the regional championship game last year, finished 9-4, lost a tough one to Madison, and played really close games with Concord District Champion, South Lakes High School, and Madison during the year. Off season, I got hired in February, so getting to know all the guys early on. We have quite a few returning seniors, so getting to know their personalities and what they can do. We got in the weight room and started really working them through the spring, and then the summer we've started to install some of our schemes that we're going to use this fall. So couldn't be happier with what we were able to accomplish in the off season, and really excited to become a part of the Westfield High School community. So far in August, we got a short training camp this year in Fairfax County starting August 5th, and teachers actually went back to work last week, so we had 1 week of two-a-days. So we really tried to get as much time on the field as we could. Kids have been responding to everything that we've thrown at them, but we do have a steep learning curve to go putting in our new stuff. Some key returning players for us. Connor Morin, wide receiver and defensive back, a multiple-year two-way starter. Looks to be a big key player for us. Troy Lucas, returning inside linebacker. Several guys in the secondary, Jay Renison and Elijah Cofield returned in the secondary, multiple-year starters. On the offensive line, we return our center, starting guard Nick Bendorf and starting tackle Alex Perrell. So we got an experienced group up there, but we have retired or graduated all of our starting defensive linemen. So we got a green group there. Some new guys on the scene. We're going to have a new quarterback this year. We're looking at two different guys, a junior kid that named Ryan Carlson, 6'3", probably 200 pounds. And we've got a returning starter as a wide receiver, Huda Johnson, that's also challenging for that spot. And we're hoping to have some resolution here in the next week or so. Some exciting young players. I mentioned Ryan Carlson at quarterback. We got a host of sophomores that are going to pop up in our two deep. Our freshman team from last year was 8-0 and won most of those games in rather dominating fashion. So there's some young guys in that group that are going to push for playing time. Maybe not so much early on, but I think as our season progresses, you'll see more and more of some of those players down the line. As far as expectations for the year, half of our staff is brand new. So we're doing a lot of learning right now. We hope by mid-season we've kind of hit our full, got things rolling and reaching our full potential, that we can play out the back half of our Concord schedule and then into the playoffs, that we're operating on full tilt. I do think early on we're going to have some growing pains like any new program and new staff might have. But that doesn't mean that we can't go out there and compete with everybody. I think at Westfield, that's the expectation, that each week we step out there on the field, we're going to be competitive and have a great opportunity to win. And I don't think those expectations are going to change. So with that, any questions?
Coach, with a new coaching staff, game one is going to be, in a sense, the most important game of the season. How are your players, sort of reacting to the pressure of starting anew at Westfield?
Yeah, I don't know so much. I think our players are used to pressure. They've played in a lot of big games. There's always been high expectations at Westfield. So I don't think our players are feeling it so much, but I know our staff does. And we know that the product that we put out there on the field doesn't just represent, the current staff or the current players or the current school, but it represents, a storied history of 25 years of Westfield football. And I think we're all well aware of that, and I think that's why we get such exceptional effort from our players and our staff in the off-season program and fall camp, because they know that people are watching and that we have some standards to uphold.
You've always had a lot of good athletes coming out of Westfield, been in Division I programs for years. Now we have, last couple of years, the transfer portal. How is that affecting the attitude of your players as they prepare for the next level?
I think it's weighed on some of them pretty heavily. I think the big thing that's changed is if you don't have the measurables that are the no-doubt measurables, you're 6'2", 6'5", whatever, the right weight, the right height. If you don't have those measurables, I think you're getting put into a separate bucket for now. Whereas in the past, some of those kids would get opportunities at camp, and if they showed that they could run or that they could play, people would take a chance on them. And I think now with the transfer portal, a lot of those kids that are maybe tweeners, they're kind of getting pushed to the side, and schools are taking those transfer portal guys instead of maybe taking a chance on a high school kid.
Do you find it frustrating as a coach when you have a kid who's, again, without the measurables, but all he is a great football player, and it's tough to get him into a good program? How frustrating is that for you?
It's extremely frustrating. And I think it's something that we're all trying to work through as the college landscape has changed. And I think it's going to change again here with the 105-man rosters here in the near future. So it's frustrating. I think the best way to approach it with your athletes is to be honest. Tell them kind of what we're seeing on the landscape across the country. That way they can make informed decisions about where they're going with their visits and what they're doing. Last thing is, I think for most of these kids, you got to believe in yourself and give yourself a chance. You may be undersized, you may not have the measurables that they're looking for, but if you put good film out there and you show up at camp and show them that you're a football player, maybe you don't get money, but somebody might give you a shot. And when you get that opportunity, you got to go show what you can do. And I think in my college playing experience, and I tell our players and former players this all the time, generally speaking, everybody gets a chance in college. You never know when your chance is going to come. It could happen your first year, second year, third year, fourth year. But generally, everyone gets a shot at some time, and you got to be ready to go when you get your shot. Because if you aren't, they immediately go to the next person. But if you show up and you play when you get your opportunity and put it on film, they'll ride you as long as they can. So I think that's the big thing for any kid that's going to college is you got to prepare your mind, body, and soul for that competition. And then when you get your opportunity to shine, you got to cash that check in.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your staff coming in. I know you've had some coaches that stayed on board, right? If you don't mind mentioning that to us, and anybody new that's joined you here this year.
Yeah, so we were able to retain quite a few guys from the previous staff. Pete Bendorf's going to stay on as our defensive coordinator. Tom Verbanik has switched over to defense, but he's going to stay on as well. Mike Lawley, former head coach at Chantilly High School, he's been at Westfield now for 7 or 8 years, is going to stick with us over on offense. We retained several freshman staff people. We retained our special teams coordinator, Alex Callis. So we have quite a few guys that stayed on. Doc Price on the defensive line, he's been a long-time Fairfax County coach. So we've been able to have some continuity within the staff. It's really helped me a lot. Coach Simmons has also helped me quite a bit, talking to him. But we've been able to kind of communicate through some of the things that have worked at Westfield, and having those guys on staff has really helped. And then we've brought in some new faces as well, some people that I've worked with at Robinson, like Phil Brady, Mark Matthey, Jose Ardone, two Northern Virginia kind of all-star, Tyler Love and Charles Tutt, some young guys that are going to help us out. So we're working to infuse some youth into the staff, and that's a feeling out process as we go. Obviously, day one when we all start working together, we're not all entirely on the same page yet, but I think over the last month we've come to really enjoy working with each other, and we've worked out some of the kinks, and it's been a really fun thing to be a part of. And I really do feel we have as good a staff as anybody, and our kids are going to be able to be coached, and we should improve tremendously throughout the season.
I'm probably going to date myself here, but I just kind of chuckled when you mentioned you got two former Centerville guys on the staff. You've got a former Chantilly guy. You got some Robinson guys. It used to be at Westfield. It was only Westfield guys. But talk to a little bit of the dynamic there. How are you guys all getting over to the Westfield way? I guess
it's definitely been a fun process, and there's things that you think from the outside that when you get in, the perception or the reality of it are different. And it's been nice to have those guys around to talk us through it, and they've been open to trying new things as well. But we do have a little bit of a conglomerate of Fairfax County legends on our staff from playing and coaching, which is pretty cool. One of the cool things that I've seen so far, Coach Verbanek and Coach Love, Tyler Love, are both UVA grads. They're both coaching linebackers, but there's probably 35, 40 years between them. But they've really enjoyed working together, having a great time over there together. So it's been really fun for everybody. I've gotten to know some of these coaches that I knew tangentially before, and now I've gotten to work with them. So it's been really cool, and I think it's only going to pay dividends for us as we move forward.
Obviously, you're right there on the doorstep last year as a program. You're playing for the Concord District and so forth. The question I have for you, looking at this team's talent, and again, there's always a little bit of a learning curve with a new coach coming in, new staff, even though there are some holdovers. Just talk a little bit about where you feel like you are in that process, and where do you feel like it's going to be mid-season? Are you going to be able to get all cylinders running here?
Yeah, I think from a culture standpoint, the culture was extremely strong when I arrived at Westfield. I call a team meeting, everybody's there. When we schedule workouts and weightlifting, everybody's there, or they're playing another sport. So we didn't really need to do any redirection of how things were operating. But we are going to be running some different schemes. And the teaching and learning and adjusting, that's going to take some time. And it's funny, we had our first scrimmage the other day, and we felt like we'd made some progress on that. You get out there and there's a different colored jersey, and some of the habits that you had previously start to step back in because now you're under the gun. So I think Coach Saban always used to say you got to practice until you can't do it wrong, and I think we haven't achieved that yet because we just haven't had the amount of reps that we need. Defensively, we're not changing a whole lot of what we've done in the past. We got some new personnel, but from a schematic standpoint, we're not. But offensively, we've got some growth that we've got to achieve, and I don't think it's realistic to say week one we're going to look like we're been doing this for 10 years already. So we kind of have a process that we're going to go through. My teams in the past always played with a level of physicality that we're going to want to see out of our guys, but that is a process to get to. We purchased a brand new sled this summer, and our guys have started working on that. So we think we'll get there this season, whether that's week 1, 2, or 3, or weeks 6, 7, 8, or somewhere in between. We'll find out. But it won't be because our kids aren't working hard, and it won't be because we were starting with a deficit. It's just a new system, a new way of thinking that we all are going to adapt to, and it's going to take a little bit of time to make sure we're doing it right.
Coach, if you could take a look forward here to week 1 on the schedule and just give us a little snapshot of the
Yeah, we have Patriot at home on week 1. I think they return quite a few very, very good players. We know about their quarterback and their running back from last year. We expect them to be tremendous. I don't know the coach over there particularly well, but I do know he's a fellow Ohio guy. So I'm excited to meet him and get to see what they can do. But I think at Westfield, like we expect to play in and we expect to compete in these games. We want to play the best of the best out there and challenge ourselves, and I think Patriot fits that bill, and we're excited to have them, and we're hoping we can continue to have them on our schedule down the road.
Coach, it's great to have you. We've had you before when you were at Robinson. Congrats on the new opportunity at Westfield. Westfield, a storied program, and certainly a lot of high expectations. We wish you the best in your first year, and we look forward to watching the Bulldogs.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
There you go, Chad. Hey. Get the football, run your feet. Hey, you know. Finish.
The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present Football Media Day. Football Media Day is brought to you by Lark Brewing Company and Restaurant, Loudoun's #1 destination for great food and great times. And by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. When you need to get back in the game or the game of life, call Robin O'Connor and Integrated Sports Medicine today.
Hundreds of high school athletes have trusted Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy to help them get back on the field. Don't let that injury go untreated. Call Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy today at 703-724-7474 or visit us online at integratedsportspt.com. It's where athletes go to get back in the game.